going to be flushing the coolant. I also will be replacing the thermostat housing, thermostat, and this sensor because I don't want to have to get it off the housing. What we're doing now is we are loosening up the clamp, which is right here, and then we'll just pull this out and make a huge mess. So that's what we're doing now. I'm just going to try to wiggle this out just a little bit more. All right, so our next step here is we're going to be taking off this thermostat housing. I have a new housing, I have a new gasket, I have a new sensor. I'm going to pop these off and drain these, and then we'll get back to it. I have the heater hose and the upper return valve off. It's looking pretty rough in there. I have to get this hose clamp off, and it's hidden underneath of this thing here. So I removed 3 bolts. There's one here, one here, one here. This one holds on the battery, just enough to get a little bit of wiggle room. So. Okay, well that was enough to get my vice grips in there and loosen this up and get it out. Now we're just gonna take this out. And so now we're taking off our thermostat housing. There's just the 2 bolts here. There's one underneath, the 13s. Okay, we got one out here. There you go, it's underneath. Okay, this is just a little guy here. So, small bolt on the bottom, 1 bolt on the top. Alright folks, and we're back. So, here's what we got here. The thermostat housing to the block here is all cleaned up. It's all tidied up. I had to scrape off all the old gasket, and then I had to use a wire brush to kind of clean it up, and a razor blade. It took some time, but thermostat housing, it's alright. Here's our new thermostat. The one I got here was a fail-safe motor rod. The thermostat housing, I got a kit that came with the gasket, but it was recommended that I pick up one from Felpro. And I've been pretty impressed with what Felpro has to offer in the past, so this is the guy that I got. Picked up a new sensor here. The reason why is this one was not going to come out of here. I just got him. Alright, so I'm gonna get this back all together. Well, not all together, but I'm gonna get this in there. Seat that, put on our gasket, and then get the 2 bolts back in there and get this back on. Okay folks, Dr. D here. So we have the thermostat housing back on. So thermostat housing is in there, as I noticed, you took it out. The spring slide goes in. After that, you put the gasket on. After that, the housing goes on, and there are 2 bolts, one here and one down here. These are torqued up to 15 foot-pounds, and I think we're all set. So the only thing left to do here is to get the sensor back in. Do this while I was installing it. Here's how this thing hooks up, right? So, thermostat, spring slide goes in the engine block. That goes in there. Over top of that, you're going to put your seal. and then above the seal, we're going to put the housing. Alright, so thermostat, seal, housing, 2 volts. This is the long one, this is the short one. They're both 15 foot-pounds. Alright folks, here we are. So I have the sensor here. I'm going to put this in just and tighten it. It is a 19, so slide that over there. So I have the upper radiator hose installed. I just got the part in today. It's from AC Delco. It actually came with this nice little corrugated thingy. This is great. So I installed the old clamp here. I just refurbished that one, the little paint job. And then down here I decided, because it's so hard to get to, I just went with a screw clamp. I got the lower radiator hose in. I decided to do the same thing over here with the screw clamp. So what I do here. So I got all the hoses on. This is just out of the way just to make it a little bit easier to work. Everything's hooked up. So I put in about 2.5 gallons of distilled water in here, and I ran this for about maybe 10 minutes or so. Really just enough to make sure that I was having water coming through here, which would mean that my thermostat was behaving itself. I'm going to let this cool down, and then I'm going to drain it again. Whatever stays in there is going to stay in there, and then I'll add roughly 2.5 gallons of the green, and then we'll top that off with the rest will be water. So we filled this up with distilled water. I'm going to release this, and I'm going to drain all that water out, not all of it, but most of it out. And after that, we will fill it up with some coolant, and then top it off with some more distilled water. Alright folks, so here we are. We are now pouring in our Xerox green. It's going to be 1.5 gallons of this, and then we will top off what's left with distilled water.